So what I want to talk about today is gas, and we've all got it. You've heard about this before, gear acquisition syndrome, right? It's when you always feel like you need to buy something else to make your stuff better. And it's very rarely true. Usually you have the tools you need to get the job done. And what's really holding you back is doubts you have about yourself or doubts you have about your work. And when in reality, you just need to commit and follow through and make that shit. You know, whether it be a beat, whether it be, a full track, whether you're a singer-songwriter, whether you're a painter, a graffiti artist, an arsonist, whatever you're doing, man, every time you do it, try to make it better. Try to get better, a little bit better every single time, and you will get better. You will. So gear acquisition syndrome. We're always envious of the next thing, right? We're always, FOMO, fear of missing out? We're always feeling that, where we see all these influencers online who have all this fancy stuff, or we see, pictures of really high-class studios that have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. We don't need any of that. You can make this shit happen with a fucking iPhone and some earbuds if you're really committed. I've heard hits made in BandLab. I've heard hits made in FL. I've made hits in Ableton, right? And you just have to find the tools that are available to you to get the job done, right? And if you're not resourceful enough to figure out how to try out something like Ableton or FL Studio, try BandLab. It's free. But if you don't even have the money, man, there's ways. And I'm not saying you should go pirate it, but like if you were to, and you really liked the software, you could buy it if you made money with it. I don't know, at least if I was a pirate, that's how I would think about it at least. But I own Ableton, so who knows. But there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And especially with music, it's all on the internet, man. You can make it happen. Especially with BandLab. BandLab is so cool. And I've seen people that just get in their closet, pause, and get their headphones and get on their iPhone and fucking go in BandLab and record whatever it is, And it turns out great if you mix it right, if you play with the effects right. It also really depends on the style of music, I feel like. Because if you're going for some more low-key chill shit, singy-songy stuff, absolutely, you can record it in BandLab. Absolutely. But, and even if you work a little bit, if you have a part-time job, if you're working full-time, if you have some money to dedicate to music, you can definitely make a good recording setup cheap. Okay, and my next video here is going to be about budget studio setups and places you can record that are free or available to you, and how to make your environment more suited to recording, because you can do it anywhere. My very first real project that I worked on that had cohesive concepts that you could comprehend behind it and things like that, and things of that nature. We recorded it all in a car, actually, and it worked out really well, because what we did was we would roll down the windows a little bit and put blankets in the windows, roll them up, get one of those sunshades that you put in your car in the hot days, and put them in the front and the back. And you got a pretty good little sound treated booth. And then you just go drive out somewhere that you're not gonna bother anyone screaming in your car, and go for it. Especially if you can't record and you're living with your parents or living with roommates or any situation like that. Yeah, do it in your car, do it in a friend's car, find some bookstore. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend trying that in a bookstore, but I'm just trying to throw things out there, brainstorm with you. But you can make it happen. And so back to the topic of gear acquisition syndrome, gas, because we've all got it. Try not to really think about what you have to buy to get your thing accomplished, because you have things around you, right? And if you're if you're like, oh man, I need to wait on a mic to really make these tracks sound right, or I'm waiting on the right interface to blah, 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 or the latency's not there, or the audio quality is not there, dude, just record it anyways, and then whenever you do have your setup right, you can use those as demos and like as tracking tracks and that kind of stuff. And that even works if you're going to the studio. If you're not trying to, if you absolutely don't want to mix your own stuff and you don't want to record yourself at home, and you find a studio around you that's got reasonable pricing, you know, work on your stuff at home, figure out exactly what you want to do, have everything laid out in BandLab, have, you know, demos of everything, so that you can go into the studio and be like, this is what I want it to sound like, this is what I have, these are the beats, these are everything, I'm ready to go. Because I've just seen so many people waste their money in the studios not knowing what they want to do. Sitting there smoking blunts, drinking, fucking playing on video games, girls, anything, man. Like anything but sitting behind the mic and recording. Except for the rare few who were ready and had their shit ready to go. And there's a couple people I knew that would come in, get an hour, record 3 or 4 songs. You know, because I was willing to do it as fast as I could fucking keep up, you know? But you don't need good equipment to do that if you don't have it. If you do have the good equipment, or if you have a job where you can get some good equipment, or you have access to a place that might have a good equipment, like a lot of public libraries and schools have recording setups now. And if you can get in there and like borrow a mic or anything like that, borrow your friend's mic, make it happen. And try to see if you can do it without spending money, because I promise you can, or keep it very budget friendly. I'm all about Facebook Marketplace. Pretty much all of my music equipment and like video equipment is used that I bought very slowly over time. And like, I don't have a good budget for this, you know, and especially not for making music. You want to try to make your process of making music as free as possible, right? Especially because if it always starts as, you know, we just want to have fun with it. We want to do what's really cool. We want to make something that sounds awesome to us. Why are you making it like something that you have to spend money on? It doesn't have to be. It really doesn't. You can use the tools that are available to you to make anything happen. More has been done with less. People have made some crazy stuff even in Audacity. You know, I was talking about Real Dolls earlier. Real Dolls, Audacity is, you know, the king of Real Dolls, and people make stuff in it. I don't know. You can make it happen. So, where am I going with all this? We have gas. Sometimes you do have to let it out though. Okay, especially if you have, you know, some money burning in your pocket. But be strategic with it. Buy things you'll actually use. Get you a good interface. Get you a nice mic. You know, maybe get a keyboard if you're a producer. Maybe get like an electronic drum set, because they're cool, right? I don't know. Get something that you really think you'll use though. For me, that's, I think the tool I use most making music would just be Ableton, right? If it came down to it, I would just use my laptop in Ableton and I could make it happen. But I also like having a MIDI push pad to like do the live session stuff. And then I also like my SP404, which is like a hardware sampler thing. But you don't have to have any of that. You could just use your laptop. You could just use the mouse and keyboard. That's what everyone starts with. And if you're using gear as an excuse to not make your songs, that's what it is, an excuse.